lose my registration. They didn't give me a Scott Asta. Oh,
Thank you. Thank you, board members, for sharing with us. Thank all of you for coming and being with us. We have two public hearings that we would entertain at this time. And the first public hearing, this is not, this is okay.
So I'll do the
We'll do that
amendment
at
of the
6.
agenda then. Okay.
Okay.
Gosh.
We're all clear.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to public hearing at this time. And we want to, at this time, ask Mr. Flynn if you will come forward with presentation on the matter.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hope everyone is well and had a good Father's Day yesterday. It was a
Good evening.
Good evening.
good evening, sir. The purpose of this public hearing is to receive and consider public input on a special use request that, if it is granted, will allow the applicant to operate a convenience store and bait shop in an agricultural residential zoning district. The applicant is here with us, Mr. Carol Purnell, down on the end there. I'll go through the facts section and entertain any questions you may have after I'm done with that. And then Mr. Purnell can get up and give his testimony if you'd like. The property address is 111 Rehoboth Church Road, and the owner of the property is listed as George Thomas Arrington. The property and store are being leased from the owner by the applicant. The size of the property is 55 hundredths of an acre, or 23,958 square feet. Sometime back, a store was operated at this location. It's been closed for several years, and probably very familiar with it. It's on the intersection of Bryanttown and Rehoboth Church Road, right across from Odom Prison. So, convenience stores are not allowed in agricultural residential zoning districts as permitted uses, but they are allowed as special uses. And once they were allowed as conditional uses, and the Board of Adjustment would hear them. But since the adoption and the changes that happened through 160D, where we had to make a lot of changes to our zoning ordinance and planning and zoning stuff, now they're being heard as special uses. Conditional uses have been done away with. All special uses come to this board. That's why we're here tonight. The planning board also reviews them first, and they gave it a favorable recommendation on the 11th of May to move forward to this board. So we're here tonight. The property in question was once operated as a community store, but has been closed for several years. I'm not even sure how many years, but I know it's been quite some time. Once a business that was grandfathered in after the 1994 adoption and zoning in Northampton County has been closed for 6 consecutive months, it loses that grandfather status. And it's been closed for several years, so it's lost that. That's why we're here. We're trying to get it back going. We're required to have this public hearing in order to give the people in the area that may be impacted by this proposed business an opportunity to speak for or against the reopening of a convenience store in this location. I keep calling it a convenience store. He wants to open a convenience store and a bait shop. They're going to be drinks and snacks and baits and lures and things like that. So it best falls under a convenience store instead of trying to have to rewrite the ordinance to basically do the same thing when he's going to have some fishing lures hanging on the wall. If anybody's ever been to Washburn's Marina, it's very similar. It's a convenience store with some lures hanging on. And so I think we can cover it with what we already have. The location of this property appears to be ideal for this type of use as it is in close proximity to the newly opened boat ramp open just behind Odom Prison. If any of you have been back there, it's a very nice facility. This intersection location will hopefully be good for business from the general motoring public traveling through the area, maybe on their way to Rich Square, going through Bryanttown Road and that area like that. So that's also a plus for that area. In conclusion, the applicant, Mr. Purnell, is requesting a special use permit that will allow him to operate this bait shop in an agricultural residential zoning district out of a building that was once operated as a similar use. This type of use is not allowed as a permitted use, which simply means we just can't write a permit in the office and let it go. It has to have a public hearing. But we can't have the public hearing, get a special use permit, and hopefully, if it's the pleasure of the board, we can keep him right on rolling, open for business. And we're of the opinion, we being staff, that this location would be a good fit for this type of use and for that building. We've got a building that's just sitting that can be used for commercial use. We don't have too many of those in Northampton County. So this is a good opportunity to take advantage of that. I have, only other thing I'd like to add as far as documentation goes, and it's just for your reference here. It's a map. All it says, it shows the intersection location. If you'll notice, there's a single line that sits partially on this property. That appears to be uninhabited.
Good evening.
And I guess we're at a disadvantage for Commissioner Edwards. Is there a camera you can?
He knows where it is.
Okay. So he's familiar. Yes. So that is the end of my
Very
presentation.
familiar. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I didn't want to leave you out without you sitting here in front of me. Sometimes it's hard to remember.
Thank you.
So that's the end of my presentation. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to entertain those at this time.
Yeah, I do have some, and
Yes, sir.
I want to apologize to you that I have not gotten in touch with you, but I just haven't been around.
That's okay.
Number one, we had this to come up once before in Seaboard with the racetrack. You remember? We went out of business, came back into business, and, and we had to do the very same.
Yes, sir.
There's a couple of questions I need to ask you. Number one is, on the store that's there now, I know you changed the zoning, but did they change the tax on that store? I'm trying to get when we say we change the zoning, did we go back and change the tax that we pay for that store?
At this intersection that we're.
Yes.
Okay. I think I think I know what you're talking about, but maybe I misspoke. When I say we changed the zoning, I didn't mean we changed the zoning designation of this lot.
Okay.
It was when we went through the changes in the zoning ordinance and the subdivision regulations to meet the requirements of the general statutes.
Okay.
That's what I meant when I said that.
Okay.
Now, as far as, I'm sure the tax department will tax it as commercial property or whatever they do. I don't have anything to do with it after it leaves my hand.
What I'm trying to say is that even the Seaboard piece, I remember, and even this piece, they still paying as if it was a store rather than if it was farmland.
Right.
And I kept hearing you saying that it's farmland and this is the zoning. I just wonder, when we look at these in the future, I just want to make sure that making sure that we change one thing. I think we ought to change something else too, because they ought not have to pay taxes on that store if we have changed it to whatever it is. Farmer.
Right. Well, we're not looking at changing the district, the agricultural residential district.
That's it. Okay.
We're not looking to change the designation of that. No, sir. We're trying to, get a special use permit within that district to allow him to do this type of business.
Okay. The next question I have, and I do apologize, board member,
It's fine.
just haven't had a chance. I want to know, can we, as a board, give your board and you and the opportunity to make those changes before you come to board, and then providing that the Board of Commissioners will agree with us. What I want to say is this fellow been waiting for a long time to get this done. And he been missing some money, because I do know that they've been going down there fishing, and I just wanted to make sure, Ms. Flint, and we don't have to resolve it today.
Right.
That we can give you that kind of, okay?
I don't believe we can, other than making those things permitted uses. Then we could.
Okay.
We can explore that.
I mean, just for 30 days or 60 days until the commissioners meet. Let's just spoil that.
I
So,
understand what you're
Does
saying.
everyone think?
We talk to the attorney and see
right,
if anything we can do.
if we can. Okay.
sir.
I apologize, board member, but there's some things that were just on my mind. I just need to make sure we clear.
Yes, sir.
We don't want to stop anybody.
No, sir.
We want to make sure they can go on and do this.
Well, Mr. Purnell made the application about mid to late April.
Okay.
Planning board heard it in May.
Okay.
And here we are at middle to end of June,
Yes.
it's the 20th.
Got it.
And this is the process it has to go through currently as a special use. So we're on target, and I know it seems like forever to him because
Yeah.
he's waiting. I get it. I understand. And
Yes.
we even talked about missing the season. You remember
Yeah.
that? We don't want to miss the season.
He missed
But-
all last weekend, the weekend before, all the folks down there fishing.
Right.
Yeah,
But yeah, and we don't want,
Okay,
we don't want to do that. So
okay,
if there's another way, we
right.
might have to make some major changes.
Whatever you need to do, I just think that we need to, especially if your board has said yes.
Yes, sir.
Can be on the condition that commissioners will give a yes. And if not, then it will not be done any longer. You have to close it up.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Board members, any other questions you all need to ask? Y'all have any? You need to ask Mr. Flynn? Okay, public, do you have any questions that ask Mr. Flynn at this time? Any comments? It's a public hearing. Applicant is here. Would you like to have anything to say at this time?
And because we don't have anything like base store per se in the county. We have a couple of places that sell food. We can go ahead and put the move. And maybe later on, we may add a few hundred supply alcohol, nothing like that. We just want to have a cold drink, right in the truck. And, hopefully the hundreds ride by, and maybe pick up the unlicensed stuff. That's what we're aiming at right now.
Thank you. Anybody else have a question that you need to ask at this time? In the comments? Public? Okay. At this time, this public hearing is closed. Thank you,
Sir.
Mr. Flynn. We
Yes, sir. Thank
appreciate
you.
it. We will take this matter up on our regular agenda.
Thank you.
The next
Thank you.
6 minutes. We're gonna recess at this time.
Just a public hearing. So, close the public hearing.
Mr. Purnell, we're planning to vote on this in just, when we open up our regular session. And if you'd like to, you can leave, but we plan to do that in just a few minutes. Okay, thank you. No problem. Just didn't know. One. Well, this time call our meeting to order. We look for all of you. We're glad to see all of you come and share with us about this evening taking care of Northampton County government. Here to make sure that we do what we need to do to make sure that Northampton County continues to move forward, be all it can possibly be. We have an agenda. Table over there is the agenda. Also have an opportunity to talk to this board. So desire the sheet over there that you fill out. Tell us whatever it is that you need to tell us. Tonight, as we come with purpose. We have a purpose for our Northampton County Commission. Our purpose all up in a mission statement. We have on the wall. And I read it to you. We take this job seriously. We gotta do what we can and make sure we do what's right. We also understand that general statute give county board of opportunity, law, spend, collect, tax, other revenue, operate the county. Tonight is important for us. Tonight we will be looking at our budget. So again, appreciate you coming and being a part of us this evening. Let me also say that we have a vision statement. Vision is about what we desire to see our county be in years to come. We got so many odds that's working against us, but we got so many good things that's working for us. What's working for us is that Northampton County is a good place to live. Northampton County is a clean place to live. So we do have some things in common that we lack about our county. Most of all, we lack the friendship in our county. All of us perhaps know each other, been around each other, been in this county all of our lives. So tonight, we shall move forward with our agenda. And at this time, I'm going to ask you, if you would, to please, for a few moments, let's have a moment of silence. With all the things that's going on around us, kinds of things that we see happening every day, we need to have a moment that we can do what we need to do as citizens to bring the right things to our county and for our people. Thank you so much. We do live in the best place you could possibly live in the world, United States. And at this time, we're going to ask you to please stand with us as we do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All of our board members are present tonight. There is no problem with quorum. We got all of them present. Mr. Edwards is not here, He's listened to us. He is a part of us, and he will be chiming in whenever he needs to about anything that we're discussing. At this time, board members, we do know that you have an agenda, and we need you to look at that agenda, and we need to make any changes that we need to make to the agenda. This is your board meeting, and we did the best we could in putting it together. But is there anything in this board package that we need to not have on the table tonight? Are there those things that we need to bring to the table tonight? You have an opportunity at this time to make those changes. What is your pleasure about our agenda?
Chairman Tyner, I make a motion, we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Move the proper second that we will approve the agenda as presented. Are there any questions, any discussion? All in favor, let it be known by the usual sign aye.
I, Buffalo.
Aye, Faulkner.
Aye, Boone.
Hi, Edwards.
Ayes have it, motion is carried. Thank you so much, our board members, for joining in with us and making sure that we have an agenda that's acceptable to all. I'm going to ask at this time if we have a conflict of interest statement. Because I'm hoarse, I'm going to ask my vice chairman if you would please read that for me.
In accordance with the rules of procedures adopted by this board in section 153A44 of the North Carolina General Statutes, it is the duty of every member present to vote on all matters coming before the board, unless there is a conflict of interest as determined by the board or by law. Does any board member have a conflict of interest with respect to any agenda item coming before the board today? If so, please identify the conflict and the board will consider the matter.
Board members, Commissioner Buffalo, you have any?
No conflict.
Commissioner Edwards,
No conflict, Mr. Chairman.
okay, Commissioner Boone,
No conflict.
Commissioner Faulkner.
No conflict.
Okay, no conflict, then we shall continue. At this time, I'm going to recess our regular board meeting. This time, we're going to be moving right now into public hearing on our budget for this fiscal year coming. I'm going to ask our county manager if he would to give us any information that we need to have about the budget. Then any person in here who desires to have any comments will be given an opportunity to do so. Our county manager.
Thank you, Commissioner. Chair Tyner. The current budget as presented represents $38.9 million. Spending 31.7 of that is from the general fund. Fund balance is in balance in accordance with North Carolina legal standards of the GS 159. The balance appropriation increases approximately $204,000 from the 2021 budget to $1,860,660. Sure. Sarge, you got that? There is an ad valorem tax decrease in this budget of ½ cent. So the property tax rate is 90 cents per 100 in assessed value. It's based on a 95% collection rate. We collected 96.23% in fiscal 22. The budget assumes full staffing, so we don't budget based on vacancies. We budget on full staffing. The budget includes the MAP adjustment that we made back in March 1st, $394,000 annually. The budget proposes a phase 2 MAP adjustment effective on July 1st for $312,000. There was a $33 per employee medical increase, which totaled $108,000 annually. COLA is projected at 2.5% or approximately $315,000 annually. The budget assumes one new community paramedic at $75,000 and one new fire inspector at $64,000. Retirement is estimated on the local general class of employees at 11.42% and 12.04% for law enforcement. The actual retirement rates were not available during the development of this budget. So we're using previous year's rate. The budget assumes financing a 200,000 new animal shelter at 25,000 per year, 10 years, estimated 5% interest. There is $311,000 included for capital outlay for operations and another $355,000 for enterprise funds. Budget includes 4 new vehicles for the sheriff at $153,000, 1 new vehicle for the buildings and grounds supervisor at $45,000, and 1 new vehicle for the county manager, which is myself, at $45,000. Those are the major highlights that are incorporated in this budget. I believe it's a good budget, it's a sound budget, and it's a good, sound fiscal plan for fiscal year 2022, 2023. That's all I have for now.
Well, members, I'll start out again, and before we go to the public, ask, are there any questions that you need to ask at this time? You had this, we just want to know if there are any questions you have. The public, are there any public comments at this time about the budget? And we will entertain them at this time. Any questions? Come here. So yes,
My name's Gary Elliott. I live here in Jackson. Question I'd like to ask the board, and this pertains to the budget, but pertains to the general operating. With the price of gasoline going up like it is, as we've looked at trying to, make moves with county vehicles a necessity instead of just a general,
yes, sir.
general activity.
Yes, I did that before while I was here. I asked all the people, the department's chair, to making sure that all traveling was essential. That we could not continue, whenever they could do, to even have 2 people, especially in some departments. They have 2 people riding together. They're going in the same direction to save us in fuel.
I know, as all of you know, I've been involved in the emergency medical field in Northampton County and other counties. This September will be 44 years. I look at what we've got. I remember when we were doing just basic transports, we were going a long way with our paramedic services. But I look at, as a county citizen, and also as, been in the medical field, to look at the west end of the county. We have our county vehicle, our county paramedic service that run at Wildwood Fire Department. And a lot of our calls in Gaston or in the Gaston vicinity. And with that paramedic service being up there, we had to provide a paramedic service on all calls, whether it's a stump tow or just if anything is activated through the 911 system on an EMS call, the paramedic has to come with the basic group until somebody gets there and justifies the call one way or the other. I think I had talked to Paula, I had heard it. I don't know whether in this budget that I feel like we need a QRV vehicle in the Gaston area, a quick response vehicle, like we got over here at Station 5 and sometimes on the east end of the county, to prevent that expensive ambulance drove all the way from the lake to Gaston. And then, the squad there in Gaston, it's a basic call. It's, it's not a paramedic call. Need to look at, kind of look at that justification for the county ambulance service and saving the money. I think the new vehicle, which y'all approved, is supposed to be going to the lake. And basically, if you listen to the radio like I do, we have a lot of traveling up down the road. I'm not saying it's unnecessary, but it needs to be kind of looked at. Thank you for your
Thank
time.
you. We appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your service.
Are there any other? Now is the time. Any other?
I got one more question to ask.
Yes.
Today, the two gentlemen were 12 out came and asked whether it increase in their tax district.
Yes. 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 Yes, sir. It's there. I need to say about this budget that the 99% of what all the people wanted from each department is in this budget. I want to say 100, but I don't want to be perfect. Okay, I'm close to it, but I don't want to be. What they asked for is what we've given them in this budget. We're just thankful that we were able to do so. There any others? This is budget presented to, we're presenting tonight. Board members, I've had some problems resting because of thinking about this budget. And I got two areas that I want to mention to you all. One is the Northampton County Schools. Northampton County Schools have come before us and we've given them what they asked for 60 days ago. For board members, being in education, I just think we need to at this time prepare ourselves. He said it right. Diesel fuel has gone up. Every one of our buildings heated. Diesel fuel. All of our buses, state doesn't give us 100%. So what are you trying to say? I'm trying to say, commissioners, and I want to say this to county manager, and I do apologize, I hadn't even discussed this with you. That we ought to look in our budget tonight as we, for $100,000 to be set aside for any emergencies that the school system will have. Not just give it to them. When they have expended their monies in those areas where we know we got to spend money. Electric bill is going up. There's no question about it. That we ought to not change this budget, but have that knowing that if they come to us, that we can get $100,000 out of our contingency funds to make sure, okay, that the school system will operate. They're doing some things I think that's unique. They're closing some schools. They're doing what I think they're doing what they can do to reserve as much as we can. But our school population is decreasing, but we still got the same amount of buildings and the amount of buses running the road. So board members, I don't know how you feel about it. I'm not asking that we give this to them, but I do ask that we allow our county manager to set aside and know that if they come to us and it's legitimate, you can come to us. That we know that we have $100,000 that we can help our school system. I have another one, commissioners. We ought to be proactive. The reason I'm saying that, I'm saying all this tonight is because we had a balance left over from last year, unlike we've had any years before. There's another area that I'm very much interested in. I've always been interested, but no one will hear me. If an emergency comes to Northampton County this evening, tomorrow evening, forbid it not, hurricane, tornado, come to Northampton County and wipe out Rich Square or Harrisburg or Conway, what will we do? Board members, what will we do? What will we do? All I'm saying tonight is, I think too, we ought to be able to say to our county manager, if that kind of emergency comes to Northampton County, we have no problem starting off with a $200,000, giving our county manager opportunity to use as needed for that emergency. We don't have to even include that in the budget, but I do think we ought to say that, because if emergency comes, you can't call me. I don't want you calling me. I want you to do whatever you can for our citizens who find themselves needing shelter. I know you might not think it'll happen, but it happened in Burke T. County. Trailer court was completely destroyed. And if we have that happen in Northampton County, forbid it might not. I'm just trying to be proactive. And it's all right anyway, folks, until it come to your house, or your mama, or your dad. And we know what we gotta do. And most of them come at night. We gotta get them folks somewhere to live. Just say it like it is. The only place we know if Ronald Rabbit is standing, we gotta get them to Ronald Rabbit, go there to a hotel somewhere for them to be in, unless we got one of our schools open. We can do that. And if our school is open, it can't stay open forever. It's not conducive for more than 2 nights. Looking at our budget, not asking for any more money, just saying we got it we got the money. So why can't we say we're putting this aside in case there is something that comes to Northampton County? And perhaps the past we couldn't do it, or perhaps we didn't have resources to do it. We didn't have the money to do it. But now we do. We're talking about our citizens.
Chairman Turner,
Yes.
with the current total contingency at 118,129. So are you requesting to add an additional 100,000 to that, plus the additional 200,000
Yeah, well,
to that?
if needed, yes.
So then you're asking for a contingency budget of $418,129.
Yes. Okay, please say it. Gentlemen.
The other way that we can do this is we can reserve it in cash and just restrict it for a specific need
Mhm.
so that it will not be
That's right.
spent.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes, it'll be there. We will reserve it. Okay, out of that, yes, out of that.
So with that, I would like to ask, and this may be the proper time because it's
Mhm.
budget hearing,
Yeah.
but it may not be, but if we're going to do that, I would like to see some type of plan between emergency management, county manager, sheriff's department, DSS, to say, here is the process we will use if a tornado hit, if some type of, man-made or natural disaster that happens in our community, a forest fire could come and they can't control it and it could go through one of the communities really easily. I would like to see something in writing which would guide you,
Mhm.
and it could be something that the board would kind of authorize to say, this looks like a great plan for us. So it's not just you trying to figure out what to do when it happens with the $200,000.
I do that. I'm trying to stay out of the weeds. I just know that we need to be prepared.
We had that conversation before because
Yeah, you.
even though there are
Mhm.
agencies that help FEMA, but there's a-
Get it day.
FEMA is a process for FEMA to get here. Like they have those processes in line. And while they're waiting to get here and set up a temporary, our citizens are still
That's right.
out, so. Forward thinking, I like that idea. Are there any citizens that, since we still are in the public hearing, do you
Right.
have anything to weigh in on that idea?
What do you think?
Since these are additional things that we're
Right.
not,
What do you think? Tell us. Answer, yes.
Mr. Bowman, I agree with you that you need to set up an outline so that the outline can be followed, and you don't need to get away from that outline. That's all what we had to do.
Thank you. Any other comments? This is your opportunity. Anybody, and this is your opportunity. This budget speaks to us, of course, giving our employees a raise. It also, and our county manager is working on that, on how much it will be and so forth by July 1. So a little over $300,000 just for making sure that we come up with our salary schedules and we have everybody on the correct salary schedule. But even more than that, this budget gives a 0.5% decrease in taxes. Put us down to what, 90? Okay, and we've done this 0.5% the last 4 or 5 years.
I would like to ask, as all other counties are adopting their budgets this month, if we can have the new ranking. It takes a little while. At least if you're looking at the bottom 10, 15, they probably won't shoot up to being, dropping by 20, 30 cents each, but at least you can see kind of how we fare in there. So we're trying to move up from being at the lower end. With that second July 1, does that handle the salary compression? Or is that just another phase into what was already there? Because we heard the DSS staff were referring to salary compression.
Right, we addressed that in this adjustment.
In this one, okay. Thank you.
All employees, all employees are making $15 an hour more. That's what we're doing. We also note that we have given each department, they said they need to function. We also, and this is a lot of money for the dog shelter. But we gotta do it because, it's required that we do all we can for our animals, and we plan to do that. We plan to look at some state sources to help us with that funding. We're hoping we don't have to borrow that money to do that, because we got our health department working with us, and we're hoping that we can come across with some grant money to help us get this done. At least we've been promised that. All right, I'm going to ask for your pleasure for the budget. Okay.
6.
Okay. All right, public hearing is now closed
Mr.
at this
Chairman,
time. Yes, sir.
yeah, I did have I can't for some reason get my email to pull up, and so for CATER, what are we doing for CATER in this budget?
CATER?
Yes.
More than we ever done before. What's that total? 15.
I knew that was
15?
the answer. I just wanted to, I just can't pull it up in my, yes. So thank you so much. Yes.
That's more. And Gaston Lake, we give them more for the control of those, of that. Yeah, what is it?
Ladina.
That's right.
It's,
Ladina.
that's
Yeah,
the really
big-
bad one.
Yeah. We
That's
give
correct.
more, we give more than all other counties, making sure that we can eradicate that problem. Okay?
Yes. I was at the Juneteenth celebration and I just said I wanted to echo that. Yes. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
Maybe there's some other highlights in this budget before we recess.
Mr. Chairman, there's a lot of highlights in that budget. Absolutely. Yes. Mhm.
Will do. We're going to recess and we're going back into our regular meeting. And at this time, we're going to ask you for the North Hudson County proposed budget ordinance. At this time, you got that, Madam Chairman? Let me make sure you got that.
Sir.
Okay, following amounts are hereby appropriate in the general funds for the operation of Northampton County government and its activities for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2022, and ending June 30th, 2023, in accordance with charts of accounts hereby established by Northampton County. Good. Board members, what's your pleasure?
Chairman Towner, I make a motion that we adopt a budget ordinance as presented by our county manager with the adjustments reflecting the contingency for Northampton County Schools of $100,000 and the restricted contingency for county emergencies of a maximum of $200,000 being added into that line.
Okay, can I get a second?
Second, Buffalo.
Thank you, Commissioner Buffalo. Are you ready for your question and the question? Question and discussion? More discussion?
Can we have the amended ordinance or adjusted ordinance online tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay. Question.
Okay. Question? All in favor, let nobody use sign aye.
Aye, Buffalo.
I, Faulkner.
I Boone.
I, Edwards.
Ayes have it. Motion is carried. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. A budget. A budget. Northampton County. Okay. Ms. Mason, you please come forward. Board of Equalization and Review. Do I need to call it to order?
Reconvene the board.
Okay. At this time, we'll reconvene again, folks. Okay, now we're going into the EMR organization. Okay.
All right, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm before you again on behalf of the Board of ENR. And you should have the minutes from our last meeting, May the 16th, included
Yes.
in your package.
Yes.
I won't read those unless y'all really want me to, okay? At this time, we need to approve those, I guess. We need to approve those minutes.
Yes.
Y'all can look those over.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes of our May 16th, 2022 Board of Equalization and Review meeting.
Second.
Proper second that we approve the minutes. Are there any questions, any discussion? If not, all in favor, known by you sign aye.
Aye, Buffalo.
Al Faulkner,
Hi, Boone.
Hi, Edwards.
Aye. Ayes have it, motion is carried.
Okay,
Continue.
okay, moving down the agenda, we do not have any appeals to present to the board at this time.
Can't believe it. Okay. Oh, man.
They had until 5 o'clock today, so there may be some in the mail.
Okay.
That's all we have for the Board of Equalization and Review.
Thank you. At this time, we're gonna come out of this recess again. We're going back into our regular meeting. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Lowering taxes.
All right, our next item on the agenda is ad valorem taxes, and the purpose is to obtain the board's approval to release and refund ad valorem taxes assessed in the amount of $338.75. That's on 4 appeals. There is a listing that property owners have attached, and they have requested that I appeal before you all on their behalf. It is my recommendation that the board approves the request for release or refund for the following 3 reasons: a tax imposed through clerical error, an illegal tax, or a tax levied for an illegal purpose.
Thank you. Well, what is yours?
Chairman Ton, I make a motion that we approve the 4 appeals for ad valorem taxes as presented by Ms. Mason tonight.
A second.
Second, Buffalo.
We move the proper second that we will refund these amounts to the people we have listed. Are there any questions in discussion? Yes.
is this the process of the appeal that the citizen would take in Woodland, that you went out to their home about the garbage?
No, no,
Okay.
ma'am, because he's not appealing values.
Okay,
He's appealing the actual fee itself.
actual fee yourself. Okay.
Did you get my message?
I did get your message. Had a lot of family things going on, so I didn't get to his house, and he does not have a phone. And I'm sorry, there was a citizen that had a question about his assessment of trash collection on a property that's he purchased but is not inhabitable. And Ms. Mason took it upon herself to ride to the house that same day to check on it for the citizen. I just wanted to make sure that the citizen gets that information so that he knows how to address that.
That we can approve that.
Okay,
What his request was, we can approve that.
okay. Thank you.
Is that it?
All in favor, known by you sign aye.
Aye, Buffalo.
Al Faulkner,
Hi, Boone.
Hi, Edwards.
Ayes have it, motion is carried.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
so much.
thank you, Ms. Mason.
Appreciate it. Yes. Yeah, okay, at this time we will have the proposal to approve special use request permit. I'm gonna ask the attorney if you will summarize that for us. We had that public hearing earlier.
Yes, Chairman Tyner, this matter came before the board at a public hearing at 5:30 PM this evening. And this is a special use application that would allow the applicant, Mr. Carol Purnell, and the property is located at 111 Rehoboth Church Road, to operate a convenience store and bait shop in an agricultural residential zoning district out of a building that was once operated as a similar use. This type of use is not allowed as a permitted use in an AR district, but is allowed as a special use. And the zoning staff is of the opinion that this location and building would be a good fit for the type of use proposed by the applicant. And for the benefit of the public, this is near our new boat ramp behind Odom Prison. So the staff's of the opinion that the special use request would be a good idea and recommends it. That's all I have.
All right, board members, what is your pleasure on this? We've already had a public hearing.
Chairman Todd, I make a motion that we approve the special use request for the convenience store and bait shop as presented by Mr. Flynn on tonight.
Second, Buffalo.
Moved and proper second that we would approve this change in what is it? Oh, special use permit. Are there any question in discussion? Any question in discussion? If not, all in favor, let know by you sign aye.
Aye, Buffalo.
I Faulkner.
Aye, Boone.
Aye, Edwards.
I have a motion is carried. I want to say to the gentleman that's here tonight, we've passed this and you can go on and do what you want to do. And I want to say to you, thank you for coming up with the idea that you're going to open up that place. That's what we're about in Northampton County. Small business is going to have to carry us in Northampton County. We appreciate of you taking the time and want to open up this convenience store. And we hope you much success. And if any way we can help you, please see Mr. Williams and he'll help you. Okay? Thank you. Thank you. How about Mr. Pastor? Craig?
Wish everybody a good evening.
Evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for the opportunity. I'm coming before the Board of Commissioners this evening to talk about two grants. One of the things I wanted to mention is this is still the same grant that we've been applying for in the past, but the name has changed with the organization, and it's now the ECU Health Roanoke Chowan Hospital Community Benefits Grant, but it is in fact the same grant that we've been doing in the past. What I wanted to do is just let you know that we've got two grants. One will be for our expanded food and nutrition education program and Steps to Help. And that grant will be for $1,000. And there will also be a community benefit grant that has been approved. And it will be for education on diabetes and chronic disease prevention programs. And that will be in the amount of $1,000. I have provided some of the grant documentation and things that we have provided. Coming to you tonight, asking for permission to allow Manager Phillips to sign the contracts to transfer these funds to our county fund balance or to our county coffers, and I'll be handled through the county. And this is how we've handled it in the past, and we just need approval from the board to move forward with this again this year.
Thank you. Keep bringing it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Keep anywhere you get it. Keep bringing it. We need it. What is board pleasure on this? Please.
I make a proposal, a motion to accept the proposal for the grant funding from ECU Health Roanoke in Chowan Hospital Community Benefits and Health Initiatives Grant Program, and the amount of $1,000 to be used for the expanded food and nutrition education program and Steps to Help. and the $1,000 grant for the diabetes and chronic disease prevention, and also to allow Mr. Phillips to sign and accept these funds.
Second.
Moving proper second. We will accept the grants that's been given, and Mr. Phillip will make sure that they are spent accordingly. Are there any questions? Any other discussion? Not all in favor, let know by you can sign aye.
Aye, Buffalo.
Guy Faulkner,
Aye, Boone.
Hi, Edwards.
Ayes have it, motion is carried. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Continue the good work.
All
Okay,
right. Thank y'all very much.
okay, we appreciate you. This time, we do have the people from Department of Transportation with us tonight. Give us an annual report. We're gonna ask them to come and tonight, and board members, this is what you all been, some of you all been asking for, because folks have been talking about some weeds in the ditch and
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
yes,
Commissioners. My name is Win Bridgers. I'm the division engineer, and as somebody who was born and raised in Jackson, my mother still lives in Jackson. We still have property in Lasker. Anytime you say you're going to drop taxes 0.5 cent, it goes us to death,
okay, thank you,
because I have a vested interest
thank you.
and my family has a vested interest in it here. We come before you tonight to talk about some projects we have going on, ongoing projects, pending projects, and then any issues you have coming up. First, I'd like to I'd like to advance it. All right, technical difficulties aside, first I'd like to introduce those I brought with me today.
Okay,
I said, my name is Win Bridgers. I'm a division engineer. I have 31.5 years with DOT. Ronnie Sawyer, division maintenance engineer. He has 28. Jack Liverman used to be your county maintenance engineer. He's now the assistant division maintenance engineer, 22 years. Randy Midget, the division construction engineer, 28 years. Gretchen Byram, division project development engineer, 30 years. Craig Midget, division planning engineer, 4 years. He'll be here a while. Michael Hill, district engineer, how many? 24 years.
Oh, yeah.
Jason Morris, county maintenance engineer, how many? Total with the department. Really? I have more than that. Sorry about that. Well, regardless of that, I think you're looking at about 170 some plus years of experience with DOT that's here today. So we can pretty much, there's not much going to come up that we haven't seen or been a part of. So with that, we'll move on. Northampton County projects. The bridge program projects in the 2020-2029 STIP, Strategic Transportation Improvement Program, the acronym change. It used to be the TIP, then it was the STIP, and now, but it's now it's the STIP. You'll see before you a list of projects that are included. Run down through these quickly. Bridge on Deloach's Mill, 900,000. Design is underway, due to be lit in September of 23. Another bridge on Jenkins Mill, design underway, due to be let October of 23. A bridge on Creeksville Road, let in October of 23. Bridge on St. John's Church, let in March of 2025. Bridge on Doolittle Mill, March of 2025. Bridge on Fire Tower, November of 2025. And bridge replacement of 44 on Kirby's Creek, on SR 1356 in October 2026. Some of the larger projects, on the next page. Sorry for not advancing it. R 5757, which is NC 305, from Seaboard Town limits to the Hertford County line. So, all the way. Upgrade the roadway by providing a consistent 11-foot travel lanes, widening shoulders, improving drainage, replacing culverts, and 2 bridges, improving intersections. That is underway at an estimated cost today. And I say an estimated cost today because I like to tell everybody these should be written in pencil. Because if you asked us a week from now, it won't be this. And by the time this is lit, well, at the time this is lit, it won't be this again. But we continue to work toward it. If I'm not mistaken, this project, I believe, are we putting a 3-lane section through here? Start down here outside the maintenance yard and widen this section through here and put a center turn lane in it. Because from down, I believe it goes all the way past the school, all the way back past the maintenance yard. Because of the development and whatnot you got in here.
Right.
So you have a center turn lane in here, a 3-lane section, essentially through this developed area right through here.
Thank you, Mr. Bridge, because that's good news for us.
Yeah.
We plan to put 50 houses up there.
Yeah, well, that's what we heard, and I know there's always talk about a new school. There might be another facility going on out here, so we know it's not there yet, but if we're gonna spend this kind of money with the inkling that there might be one back in there behind another school,
That's right.
we might as well go ahead and sort of at least be halfway planned for it. The rest of the project is essentially just safing up 305, widening it, giving you some more shoulders, making sure the pavement's consistent. And all the way essentially it goes from the Hertford County line all the way to Seaboard. The next one, NC 46. From NC 46, from 48, from the top of the hill in Gaston to the Virginia line, upgrade roadway, 12-foot lanes, 4-foot paved shoulders. $23 million with a lead of November 2024. This also realigns the intersection up at the old Gaston Road to try and straighten that curve out where the flashing light is right now, where you have a sort of accident problem. Because when you come across the hill and the road 46, essentially if you're going toward Virginia, it cuts around to the left. We will move that intersection, try to level it up so you have sight distance all the way around that intersection.
Great.
So
Great.
that's forthcoming. And I know I know that the people here have had a lot of questions about all the stakes and stuff up in 946. That's because the right-of-way negotiations and whatnot are underway. So that's what all the stakes are about. It's not like they're coming tomorrow and start turning dirt. Those are to show where the right-of-way is going to be. And those are 2 projects that were actually in the county comprehensive transportation plan. When did you take over? Is the project about 2017, 16? Sometime before that, there was extra money in the STIP, and they decided, they went to look through the county transportation plans, and they pulled these 2 out and 258 from Bryan Tyne to the Scotland Neck Bridge. That one's already finished. But these are the other 2 that were pulled and added. One thing I will talk about, this is what's in there right now, and these dates are fairly close enough that they should proceed on. If you go to an RPO meeting, you're going to hear a lot of talk about prioritization, swapping projects falling out. At last flush, the STIP was $13 billion over programmed. We're obligated to have a list of projects, and we had projects in there that had estimates that were fairly old. As y'all know, you sit right here and talked about the cost of diesel fuel and the cost of everything else. The cost outran the projects. So what they had to do is we have a mandate now to go in, and the estimates have to be no more than 2 years old. So every 2 years, you have to redo the full estimate on every project in the STIP. We were 13 billion over budget. There's a chance we could get about 5 billion in federal, infra grant and all the various grants and whatnot, which still leaves $8 billion with a B, 8 billion over budget. But they're working every day to work towards that, to minimize that. We've all been tasked with minimizing overruns, having project costs that are real, estimates that are real. So if projects tend to slip, and I don't think any of these probably will, but if projects tend to slip, that's probably going to be why. Current projects currently under construction. The project near and dear to all of y'all, that's a drone picture of Garrisburg. R2582A, NC 46 and 158 essentially from 95 to St. John's Church. Under construction for Theo Construction, being administered by Michael Hill's office and Brooks Braswell, the resident under Mr. Hill, who is under Mr. Midget. The bid amount was $81 million to build that project. Contract completion date is April 18th of 2024, and its current completion is 42%. Next one. R5781EA Northampton Various. This is going to be upgrade wheelchair ramps and retrofit wheelchair ramps to bring them up to ADA standards at various locations throughout the county. It's too numerous to mention. We wouldn't even dare try and give you a map to show where all that is. But that's what that is. So you'll see work going on, upgrading the wheelchair ramps, getting the ramps at proper grade, putting their textured domes, the raised domes in them, and the colored concrete and whatnot for the visual acuity. You'll see that going on. It's under contract to Eastern Earthscapes and Construction, being administered by Mr. Hill's office. Bid amount $270,000. They've not yet started. It has a completion date of June of 23. The next project, bridge number 15 over Wildcat Swamp going to Northampton High School East. It's under contract to Dellinger for $1 million. Currently, the contract is suspended due to some utility conflicts. Those conversations are ongoing, and the project will be coming along. Is there any more news other than this? Okay. It's still in conflict as far as to get the utility straight. Next one, Northampton County resurfacing contracts for years 21 and 22. I want to explain, if it says 21 and 22, that doesn't mean they're coming to that road in 21 and 22. These are when the contracts were let. Our contracts are let in the spring and in the fall. When it's let in the spring, for example, the contract availability date may be sometime in July. They then have 18 months to complete that work. So you've got contracts overlapping all the time. There's always a new one coming out that's overlapping the old ones. These two numbers represent when the contracts were let. So they could be, whatever time they're let, there'll be about 18 months to get them complete. But these are, and I'll just go through them quickly because you can look at them. Everybody has a copy. Oak Grove Church and James Massey Road, NC 35 Pine Tops and Woodland going out to Minton Store, Ryan Tyne Road from Jackson down to Odom, 186 and Cornwallis, 186 Cornwallis Road, St. John Church Road, Jordan's Mill Road, Hickory Tree, going out running my page, Bristol Sawmill, Alaska Road, Pinhook Road, Collier Road, Griffin Road, William Parker Road, and Mary Odom Road. That's a whole lot of them, but I mean, they are what they are. They're under contract and they will get there eventually. I would say another caveat is that in this highway division, which is 14 counties in the northeastern part of North Carolina, historically, there were 3 paving contractors, Rose Brothers, Robbie Parker or RPC at the beach, and Barnhill. Barnhill would sneak up here from down 95 and pull out a Rocky Mountain a lot. They would pave up Northampton some. Rose Brothers got the lion's share of it. Adams, right? Contractors come out of Virginia now. I think it used to be BP Short out of Emporia. I think somebody's bought them like Fred Smith bought Rose Brothers. Not only did Fred Smith buy Rose Brothers, they bought RPC. So essentially now you have Fred Smith and Barnhill. And Adams is sneaking into Northampton, and they've been doing a good job. I believe everybody's pretty much pleased with the work they've done. But at least y'all now have a third party competing for your work, which we all know competition is a good thing. It keeps the prices under control. One other thing I want to expand on. You mentioned the contingency for emergency responses. Lonnie Sawyer, the maintenance engineer, and Jack Liverman had a meeting last week. It was last week, Thursday, right? Last week with all our county maintenance engineers, all the departments head, district engineers, to talk about hurricane and emergency response. To make sure we're ready. You will likely have Michael Hill, Jason, Jack may be in some of it, coming around to speak to y'all, speak to emergency management. They may speak to your towns about being ready if we have a hurricane or a disaster. We're gonna be ready. We've got our cut and shove contracts getting ready to get awarded to get the stuff pushed out of the road. If it's a declared event, we'll be there to contract to get the debris removed. Has Northampton ever had an MOU? Okay. Some counties have a memorandum of agreement. And if there's ever a big debris event, the county says, we'll do it. And they enter into a contract with a contractor to clean it all up. One of the benefits of that is if there's a major event, for example, like the tornadoes in Bertie on the Morning Road and whatnot, the most recent ones. If there's an event like that that tears up homes and dwellings and stuff, DOT is going to go through there and we're going to pick up the vegetative debris. We're going to leave the house that they took and took the dozer and rolled it to the road. We're going to leave that. We're going to leave the washing machines and the dryers and the cars that got flipped all upside down and tore. We're going to leave all that. And it's still going to fall on the county. A lot of counties took it upon themselves to say, okay, if I get an MOA, then I'm in charge. And when that stuff happens, I can get it and y'all can, or your emergency manager can direct, we're going to get it all. You have to get an MOA from DOT, which essentially asks, Northampton County would like to pick up the debris on state roads, primary and secondary roads. We would say, okay, here. And then you could direct the work, pick it all up when you went by, because like I said, we're going to pick up the woody vegetation, the trees and limbs and mess like that. We're not going to pick up the houses and all that. So some counties do, some counties don't. Depending on the event, sometimes we get tasked by state emergency management to do things, and that's okay. Somebody tells us to do it, we're going to do it. But you're may have a visit from our locals to talk about being ready for emergency response. One of the things, Jason, and we're probably going to talk about is, God forbid we have a debris event, being ready to accept the debris. Because we want to pick it up, get it off the road. And what historically y'all have been excellent to work with, we carried it back into the landfill and set it aside. And then y'all took care of the reduction, the grinding, burning, however you went about taking it from a huge pile to a handful. It's always been great. And I think we'd love to see that relationship exist again, is being prepared by having your permits in place, your solid waste disposal permits active and whatnot. They'll come and talk in gory detail about that at another time and not tonight. With that, I'm done. We will be glad to entertain any questions you have. If we know the answer, we'll try to give it to you. And if we don't, we'll write it all down. We'll go do some homework and send you back the answer. The floor is now yours.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
Sir.
You know you're doing. Board members, you have any questions? Any questions?
I have one question. The road where Gaston STEM Leadership Academy and Northampton High School are located on, it's a really tight
Broughton
road.
Street,
I'm sorry,
Broughton
Broughton Street,
Street.
yes.
yeah,
It's a really tight road and
No.
it's,
I know.
okay, you know where I'm going,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
I know, do too much about it.
Okay.
I was district engineer when that whole thing went.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We tried to widen that road. Obtaining the properties and whatnot, it just didn't work out. We wanted to widen it from 46 back. You know where it goes to the back, makes that hairpin turn? We wanted to widen it back toward that at least. It just didn't work. There was property owners in there who didn't want to give the right of way. And at the time, that's actually a secondary road. It's SR 1281. Isn't it? Oh, you think I remember that? It's SR 1281. On a secondary road, when we used to have secondary road money, when we used to build roads, and that went away statewide, we tried to program to widen Broughton Street. And there was a couple of landowners in there, fairly decent parcels that wouldn't sign. And it didn't make sense to get to them and kick the thing over, you know, and put a dog leg in it. It just didn't work, because then it would have had a huge impact on the property across the street. So it didn't work. We can look again, you know, all the time, we can look and see what it would take and advise, but we don't have the funding mechanism that we used to have when we had a lot of secondary road money when I was district engineer back prior to 2011. But we'll look. But I know it's bad because you got a lot of traffic coming and going on. You got multiple educational facilities exist on it. And I know it's tight.
I worry when I see people with baby strollers
Yeah,
pushing down there.
and two buses like
And
this.
yes, and then they're wide and then it's hard to,
And every individual who's got a driver's license wants to come out of there. They're tired of being there all day and they're ready to go, right? And they go, don't they?
so, yeah. Okay, thank you.
We'll take that, Diane, and we'll look into it anyway. And we can propose it as we can put it on a wish list somewhere.
Okay.
See if some funding comes along for some safety thing or something, or you don't never know. We might get a call for projects one day and we can put it on the list.
Let me ask you about, let me ask you about the roads that was had before 1975.
75. September 30th, 1975.
Have we got any roads now on your list that that you all need to maintain? I can't remember.
Well, I mean, we have two petitions
Okay,
for two roads up off 46.
that's right.
Butcher and what? Green Hill?
Mhm.
Green Acres.
Okay,
Green Acres and Butcher. We have a petition in hand to investigate. One is not a lot of work to just get it to acceptable maintenance conditions and add it as unpaved.
Mhm.
Butcher is gonna take a lot because the yards are like this much higher than the road bed. So there's no ditches on it. The road is the ditch. We can't accept that like that. We can't take that as ours and then end up with, you know, yards up here and it just turns down and there's the rock, and every time it rains, it all runs down the middle of the road. Well, we've done some estimates on it and we're working on it. The issue with it is, though, to tell you, every highway division only receives $400 and about somewhere between $20,000 and $50,000 a year to build unpaved roads. What's the last go around? $1 million a mile?
That's what's looking like the increased cost
$1 million a mile. We get $450,000 a year for 14 counties. I mean, you just,
okay, let me ask, do you think you'll get to those What, is there anything we need to do?
No, you've done you've done what you could do. You reviewed the petition, you recommended us to look at, and now we have it. There's nothing really for y'all to do.
I hate to say this, but can our legislator help us?
Well, let's
I'm just
go
asking.
ahead. There was,
Hate to ask.
no, it's okay. I mean, we all serve everybody, and if somebody tells us, if the legislature says go do, we're just gonna go do.
Okay.
But there is some conversations going on in the legislature about unpaved roads and non-system roads and the September 30th, 1975 date and all this kind of stuff. But I'm telling you, I've been here 31 and a half years, all in this highway division. I was district engineer for Hereford and Northampton for 10 or some odd years. That's a Pandora's box. You better be careful if you open it. Because if you ever open it, you'll never close it. Because think about the legal actions of, now this is the post 75 roads that were built after 75. If somebody goes and spends money on that, and you had built a road post 75, but you built it to state standards, you paved it, you did everything DOT asked, and then we added it. Then somebody turns around and spends money to add one that was under the same general statute, but somebody funded it out of legislative money. It's gonna be a hand grenade that nobody's going to hold on to, I expect. But that's for them to talk about, and there's ongoing conversations about it. And if we're all saying, if you want us to build secondary roads, you're gonna have to find some more funding. $450-some thousand for 14 counties will not get it done when it takes $1 million a mile to do one. So it is underway. The two that I mentioned are in process somewhere. The issue being, a lot of times, there are things that the landowners need to do, a few odd improvements that need to be done. And sometimes they can, and sometimes they may be not financially able to do it. DOT doesn't have a pot to work on pre-75 roads with like we used to. We're working with the finances we got.
If you get that, will you just send us a note and say, you know, I got this and we're gonna work on this road or that?
Oh,
road?
yeah. Well, see, we used to come around every year and do the secondary roads program.
Yeah.
But when the secondary roads program dried up, there was just nothing to come talk about. We don't have any money, so we're not doing anything on secondaries, constructing secondary roads, because we just don't get that much funding anymore. We're actually trying to catch up roads that we already had right of way on, that were already on the list. Because once they get on the list, if you add a new one like Butcher or Green Acres, they go to the bottom of the list until they can get ranked, you know, and they have to earn their space, kind of like you just got to pay your dues, kind of like that. That don't mean they won't get added, but there may be some things that the landowners have to do to get it to the point where we felt we could add it.
Okay, got one more.
One thing I mean, remember we met in Rich Square?
Yeah,
Well, we met in Rich Square. And it's in the same shape it was when we met in Rich Square.
if you're right.
I mean, honestly, now I'm gonna tell you, I had $25,000 set aside to put that pipe in. I took that money and went somewhere else with it. Now, if that ditch comes to 305, we'll find it and put that pipe in. But I have spoken with the town periodically, and they're supposed to be bringing that ditch to the right of way of 305. But until they do that, I mean, we're hiding. So
I'm glad you mentioned that.
well, we did our thing, and I know they were working on it, and I know they had a hard time with the lady that had the property, and there was a lot going on there. But if it ever does get to the road, we'll cut the thing in two, we'll put the pipe in, and that drainage across the street to the church will be aided. So we're waiting on somebody else. It's not DOT dragging the feet, we're waiting.
Got to make it work.
So, you know, if they do get that property worked out and get the ditch done, we'll be fine.
Okay. And we're working on that as we speak, I think.
And that's fine. Every time I talk to Charles Slade, I mention it.
Just got a special appropriation from the square.
Okay.
Water down there.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things they want to do. I don't know what they, But that's one thing they want to do. I need to ask you one more, then we going on.
No, good.
46.
Yeah.
Where you going widen the road?
Mhm.
Okay. Our engineer have already been in touch with that surveyor and whoever got that work. Just want for your information.
Oh, yeah.
We plan to run a sewer line all the way from Gaston, just like the water line,
Mhm.
all the way up there. I just want you all to
Oh,
know
yeah.
that we're working on getting that sewer line up there, so you all will know when you're talking, you'll know. But our engineers already in touch with the state engineer, whoever got that job, to know where the sewer line will be.
Okay.
A lot of water lines got to be moved, a whole lot of work got to be done there before that's completed.
Well, that's the big things. If you're gonna put something else up in there, let us help you figure out where to put it. So we don't have to put it in, turn around and move it.
Right.
So, yeah,
And that's why he's working with them.
that's good. And that's great.
I'm finished.
All right.
I'm finished.
Thank you.
We
Enjoyed it. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. We appreciate all that you all do. You can't satisfy everybody. Do the best you can. I know what it is. That's right. Thank you, thank you. Thank y'all. Members, move on. Okay. Appointment of Mr. Phillips to the PR. We run up, I've been what is it?
BR.
Okay. Organization. I'm on that and meet with them, and we'd like to get our county manager there likewise, and it must be a motion made and it must be in the record. That's who we're sending. That's what they're just talking about in that. I attend those meetings once a month, just trying to make sure that Northampton County stays on the, because he said it right. They're changing all the time where their money goes and their priorities. So we just gotta be there to make sure that they complete all the projects they want to complete, want to do in Northampton County. So at this time, I'd like to have a motion that Mr. Phillips will be our representation on the Peanut Belt Rural Planning Organization.
So moved.
Okay, could I have a second? Second, been moving proper second that Mr. Phillips will represent us. Are there any questions? Any discussion? If not, all in favor, let nobody use sign aye.
Aye, Buffalo.
I Faulkner.
I Boone.
Hi, Edwards.
Thank you. Motion's passed. At this time, we shall have the budget amendments at this time by finance.
Good evening,
Yes.
Chairman of the Board, Vice Chairman, and our Commissioner. I have three budget amendment. One is for $3,000. It's to increase the line item to fix the diesel pump at the landfill. And the other one is for $100,300, and it's for RS penalty charges from December 2018. And the third one is for $2,000, and it's registered deed, and it's for a grant for an automation project.
Our board members, you see here, three budget amendments. Hey. Two of them are easy for me to say to you, let's approve. One is really hard for me to say. It's hard for me to say it because we've been short of penalty. RS. not gonna point finger. It is what it is. So, at that, 2018. We did not do what we need to do county board. RAs. Said to us, you must pay. Oh, I did, gotta pay it. I was on this board back then, and they said they had gone into our IRS, and they asked IRS to please forgive us, let us, whatever you call it. Right. And they didn't tell us, no, they would not. Now they said they would not. Gone through all that. We don't need to keep it away, because every month, it's added on more and more. We need to get it back. We have. We have all the information right there. What's your board?
I don't have questions, and I apologize for stepping out. When I see my mama's number, I get nervous, so y'all forgive me. There are process in place to ensure that this does not happen.
Yes.
Please.
It's all being handled through NCHIP today. HR manager reports the numbers to NCHIP, and they make sure that the forms are submitted to IRS.
When IRS send you a bill, you don't have a choice. Okay.
Make a motion that we accept the budget amendments as presented.
Second.
Second, that we'll pay those, we will abide by the budget amendments as given to us by finance officer. Question, discussion? Not all in favor, let it be known by you sign aye.
Aye, Buffalo.
I Faulkner.
I Boone.
Hi, Edwards.
Ayes have it, motion is carried. Thank you so much. This time, we're gonna ask for any comments from anybody? From the citizens, thank you. Okay, at this time, we're gonna ask the county manager, you have anything that you need to?
I don't have a whole lot, just again, it's just what we've been working on for the last several months. Diligently working on the Oldham prison. We just did that walkthrough with the engineers. We're gonna wait and get a report from them, but the report will come after their team goes in there again and conducts a feasibility study for us. We gotta get temporary powers in there so that they can see what needs to be done. Of course, the courthouse, I keep driving by every morning, see if any dirt is dug up yet, and I'm being told it should be this week. Affordable housing, the $3 million, waiting for that. The wellness center, and of course, budgets and year end. So we've been constantly moving and reacting and putting things in place, to make sure that we utilize the county's resources, people and the resources as efficiently as possible so we can get our bang for our bucks. That's the bottom line. I want to see the county growing and growing the right way. And just working on our team, our finance team, our HR team. MIS, I know we have a great man over there. He's about to leave, so we're looking to eagerly replace him. So we've got a lot that we're working on. It's a challenge, but we're going to meet the challenge. And I just want to do my part to continue to help Northampton County to grow in the right way. That's all I've got.
Thank you. Mr. Edwards. Mr. Edwards. Comments?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, just want to thank you for the meeting this evening, and thank you to all for this budget, great budget. And just want to echo to all, the Juneteenth celebration that was held at Garysburg Elementary School was outstanding, and we must remember our past so that we can move forward. Those are my comments. Thank you to all.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. Appreciate you. At this time, we're going to ask Buffalo.
Good evening. I just want to remind the citizens of the USDA workshop meeting coming up next Tuesday, June 28th from 10 until 1 at the Cultural and Wellness Center. If you have any interest or need repairs, please come out and hear what USDA has to tell us. Thank you.
Thank you. What about the commission?
I just want to say good evening to everyone. I'm excited about, well, happy about the new business that's coming on Bryantown near our boat access ramp location. I was glad to hear and to see the work that was being done regarding that. Mr. Arrington, he did have the store up and running for a while. And I recall asking him if he would consider doing that again. And he said that, you know, he wasn't going to, but to see that another citizen has stepped up and wanting to bring business, take advantage of that access, I think is great. It shows promise for our county. And just look forward to seeing good things happen for him, his family, and then also for the community. Those are my comments.
Mr. Chairman,
No comment, sir.
comments? Leave it all to me. Again, citizens, how blessed we are to be in Northampton County. How blessed we are to see Northampton County moving forward. We thank all of the citizens of our county for all that you do, all the help that you provide for the citizens of this county. We are happy to have our county manager who's coming in, who's really working hard to make sure that things are done correctly. Thank you again. I'll say it to you, Mr. Manager, thank you. I respect you highly for taking this job, and I want you to know you have the support of all the Board of Commissioners as we move forward. I want to also thank the people in each department, working in each department in Northampton County. As y'all can see from the budget, we're doing all we possibly can to make sure that we do all we can for the employees of Northampton County. We are excited about our county. We're excited about things that's going to happen. But we also know that I said at the last meeting, there's a list now that's growing about the number of employees we need in every department. I ask if you all know of any persons who are interested. If you're interested, please fill out the application, because our county cannot be any better and the people who work for our county and making sure that things are done correctly in our county. Are we excited about the courthouse? Yes, we are. We're just waiting, and I done called the man every day. When you going out there with the equipment to start? And they promised me that try to be out there tomorrow to at least get the black paper up and fencing up that needs to be up. So yes, we are excited about it. Are we excited about Oldham Prison? Yes, we are. We're excited about another opportunity that we have in Northampton County to make a difference. What I'm saying to make a difference is we're gonna take what we have in Northampton County. You know, we're gonna take the lemons, we're gonna make us some good lemonade. That's what we do in Northampton County. The building was there, the prison was there. We're gonna take it and we're gonna use it. We're gonna use it for our good, for the good of Northampton County. I want to thank again our citizens. I want to thank you for paying your taxes. I know for some it's been hard, but and some have called me about it, and we worked out and done all we can to work out the plans that we need to work out for individuals. But I want to say to the citizens, thank you for your cooperation. Over $1.8 million has been collected from back taxes. We want to say thank you, citizens, and if any way we can help you, we can. But all citizens, there is no exemption. All citizens must pay their taxes. So again, I want to say to all of you, hang in here with us. Bigger and better things are coming for Northampton County. Just hang in here with us. Thank you again tonight for coming and sharing with us. And at this time, I entertain a motion that we would go into closed session for just a few minutes.
So move. Entering closed session regarding GS 143-31811, A6 for personnel, attorney-client privilege, EDC reporting.
Second.
When proper second, Mr. Hill, Commissioner Hill, we're in a closed session. Are there any questions in discussion? If not, all in favor, let nobody use sign aye.
Aye, Faulkner.
Aye, Boone. Aye, Buffalo.
Ayes have motion is carried. Thank you all for coming. We appreciate it. Please come and share with us. And we all can walk down this road together with an understanding.